So the race for the White House playing out amid chaos that is bursting out around the world and American leadership being called into question. North Korea setting off nuclear weapons, sparking international anxiety. Washington turns to the UN for action. And escalating tensions between two of the biggest powers in the Middle East. A coming showdown between Iran and Saudi Arabia. The Saudi Arabian embassy in Tehran burned overnight. The Obama administration urges people to stay calm and keeps its distance, some would say. Joining us now in New Hampshire, Republican presidential candidate and Ohio Governor John Kasich. Governor, good morning. Good to have you with us today.
Good morning, Martha.
Obviously, everything that I just laid out raises so many questions. And one of the biggest is it our responsibility to try to turn the tide with all of these hot spots that are a huge threat around the world?
Yeah. Well, with Iran and Saudi Arabia, keep our nose out of it. The difference between Shia and Sunni, that fighting has been going on since about the 6th century. And the last thing we need to do is to get in the middle of it. Now, we hope it'll settle down, but it's not our place to be in the middle of it. Secondly, in regard to North Korea, this has been a problem that has plagued many administrations, not just the Obama administration, but this has gone back for a long time, and it was a policy that allowed us to kick the can down the road, and we get to the point where the can's getting bigger and it's harder to kick. So the answer here really lies with the Chinese, which is why, even though we have to make clear to them the fact that they can't cyber attack us and they don't own the South China Sea, we don't want to turn them into an enemy. And we need to rely on them and urge them to deal with this leader in North Korea. In addition, I think we need ballistic missile defense in Asia. And finally, Martha, and this is the most serious issue, we have to be able to intercept both by air and by sea those efforts by North Korea to take very dangerous weapons or components or material and to ship them to other people in the world. This is one of the biggest problems the world is going to face. The proliferation of very dangerous weapons, weapon systems to non-state actors, not just to Iran, but to non-state actors. That means I'm talking about people who don't wear a uniform, who don't live in a sort of designated country where the policy of deterrence may not even work. That's what's facing us down the road. That is what's going to face my daughters as they get older and older. They're going to be 16 here, and throughout their lifetime, this is going to be a big issue. We must make sure that we quarantine North Korea.
How?
Well, you can't let them ship things out, Martha. If they're on the sea, we've got to stop the ships.
You know, how would you use our military? How do you stop them?
Oh, yeah, well, they're supposed to have been doing this. I don't know how robust it is. You stop them right on the sea. And if we suspect that they are flying things out, then we're going to have to intercept aircraft. I mean, we just don't have any choice on this. But the easiest way to deal with this is on the sea. The easiest way to intercept is on the sea. And we were supposed to be doing it. How robust this has been, I really don't know. I mean, there's a lot of suspicion that they have been selling or giving ballistic missile capability to Iran so that Iran could mount potentially a nuclear weapon on the top of a ballistic missile. They have to miniaturize it. And the other concern, though, for me, is the shipping out of uranium, of enriched material. I mean, it's very, very concerning. So I think we need to make it clear to the world that this is not tolerable, because this is a out-of-control regime, and the world is going to pay a price for this. Not just us, but the world will, if non-state actors over time are able to accumulate this kind of material.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
None of this is a reason to panic. I mean, steady as she goes, but firm.
All right. So clearly that is your, that's the focus of your greatest concern. And as you say, you believe that Iran and Saudi Arabia is something that we should stay out of in terms of the battle, the Shia-Sunni battle that is going to be raging for some time, it appears. I want to ask you also about Syria. Yeah. And I want to play for a moment, because now we have learned that the administration is basically accepting the fact that Assad is not going anywhere. Here is the pattern of what has been said about Assad between Hillary Clinton and President Obama since 2011. Watch this.
The major focus of our government was on trying to remove Assad from power.
I was one of the first leaders, I think, around the world to say Assad had to go.
We have to increase diplomatic pressure on the Assad regime and work to convince those people around President Assad that he must go.
But President Putin does not want Assad to go, and he seems to have won that one.
Well, if I'm president, he's not going to win, and this is going to drag out for a while. Assad has to go. And, Martha, in regard to Saudi Arabia and Iran, let me just say one other thing. Saudi Arabia is an ally of ours. We need to be able to support them. However, we need to make it clear to them that they're supporting of these radical madrasas where they radicalize clerics who are out spreading hatred towards us, towards Israel. You know, that has to stop. But we're fundamentally aligned with Saudi Arabia. Now, in regard to Assad, you've got Iran, which is supporting Assad, which is also in line with Russia. Assad has to go. There can be no exception to this. And so I believe we have to continually support the rebel forces, not by being on the ground in the middle of a civil war, but we need to support the rebel forces who believe that a butcher, and that's what this guy is, he is a butcher. Assad has to leave office.
All right, Governor,
and all these negotiations in Vienna and everything, I'm just going to turn up with nothing. Yeah. This is going to take action to force him out of there.
We're about to get cut off, but it's a conversation we'll continue, and I thank you very much. Good to see you, Governor.
Okay, Martha.